Good morning, children. Today, in our moral science class, we are going to deal with the chapter sacrifice. So, what is sacrifice? In order to sacrifice, one gives up something that one holds dear for the sake of another thing that one considers more important. So, for sacrifice, we have to give what we consider for us that is important for the sake of others if it is important for them. If we sacrifice, it will be useful for us as well to the other person. Now we are going to read about the sacrifice. Now see, here in this picture we are seeing that the soldiers, they sacrifice their life for the country, for the welfare of the people. They don't think about themselves in priority, they think about the people of their country. Now, the greatest sacrifice is when you sacrifice your own happiness for the sake of someone else. That means we get happiness, and that will be great when we sacrifice, when we do anything for the happiness, if we give happiness to anyone else. Now, sacrifices made by parents. Parents, they do a lot of sacrifice for us. In this picture, you can see a father. He is doing a lot for his son. He wants to take his son from darkness so that he can bring brightness in his future. The parents, they want to provide the children with all the needs as possible for them. They want to give the children good education. They want to provide children with good clothes, good food, everything so that the children can be happy. Now, as a good chess player knows that sometimes you have to sacrifice your king to win. So, good chess player, he understands that to win, he has to sacrifice the most valuable thing in the chess, that is the king, if he wants to win. Now we are going to read about the story of two friends that we have done before. The 2 pages we have done before, but in short I am going to deal with this chapter again. So Spark, there are 2 friends. One is a Spark, he is an American, and another is Jagdish. They had met earlier in America, where Spark had kept Jagdish with him. And this is Jagdish, he wanted that Spark should visit his friend in Mumbai. And Jagdish was living in Mumbai. He wanted that Spark should come and live with him for few days and visit India. Spark also enjoyed when he got the invitation of Jagdish. He also liked the invitation and he came to India because he wanted to know about India, why it is called the land of mysteries. So now Spark, he had arranged his trip in such a way that he landed first in Delhi so that he could visit all the northern states of India. But before traveling to his friend, he wanted to go to the northern states before traveling to the south in Mumbai. So first he went to Punjab, and in Punjab he had seen all the things. He went from city to city, and then he went to museums, parks, and the places of worship. He was enjoying his journey a lot when one day he was suffering from typhoid, and that was epidemic, and he had no one to look after him because the doctors and the nurses were very short in that area. He said the manager to inform his friend Jagdish about his illness, and when Jagdish heard about the illness of his friend, he left his wife and children and went to look for Spark. Now what happened next? We are going to do that. When he reached Now today this we have to deal with. When he reached Spark's bed, when Jagdish he came near Spark, then what happened? When he reached Spark's bedside, he was alarmed at how frail and weak his friend has grown as a result of his illness. So when this Jagdish he reached near Spark's bed, then he found that he was very surprised to see his friend. He had become very weak due to the illness, and from that moment on, Jagdish was at Spark's bedside, nursing him by day and by night, and ignoring his own rest and comfort. And from that time, Jagdish, day and night, he was looking after his friend continuously, so that he could be better, and he did not care about himself. Jagdish did not care about himself. One night Spark's condition became very critical, and it became obvious that there was very little hope for his recovery. Now what one night Jagdish saw that Spark condition, it was becoming worse, and it seemed that now he is not going to recover. So Jagdish fell on his beside the sick man's bed and supplicated to God in words such as this: "O Lord, please spare the precious life of Spark." Now Jagdish said to God, he supplicated, he offered God that Jagdish fell on his knees and said to God that please leave the life of Spark. His life is very precious, and if death is ordained, O Lord, I am willing to accept it myself, so that my dear friend may return home safely. So he said that if it is your will, then if death is to be given to Spark, then instead of Spark's life, please take my life. I am willing to accept death and live Spark's life, so that he can go to his home back safely. His supplication was made with great fervor and with sincere tears. Now his supplication, which he had done to God, God has accepted it. God had accepted it. Now, because it was done very sincerely, by morning the patient had overcome the deadly crisis and felt much better. So by morning, Spark had become a little better. That same morning, Jagdish fell prey to typhoid and in a matter of days passed away from this world. Now, from that morning, Jagdish, he had got typhoid, and afterwards, in few days, he had passed away. He died. He died with a smile on his face. So he had died with a smile on his face. He did not have any grievances against anyone. He was happy about his friend, and he died. Now Spark mourned deeply the death of his friend. So Spark was very sad. He was very sad, and due to the death of his friend, he was praying. He was very sad, and he was thinking very sadly about his friend. He he shed many tears for the man who had willingly laid down his life in order to save his. So he was crying for his friend who had willingly, Jagdish had himself laid his life to save the life of Spark. So he was crying for his friend. Now, as soon as Spark recovered, he went to Mumbai and paid a visit to Jagdish family. So now, as soon as Spark recovered from his illness, then he went to visit his family of Jagdish. He went to Mumbai to see his family. He told the family how devotedly Jagdish had nursed him to recovery and expressed his regret over Jagdish's tragic end. So now, this Spark, he went to the family of Jagdish, and he said to the family members that Jagdish had looked after the spark. He was very devoted. He had looked after the spark very devotedly, and looked after him very nicely till the recovery, and he expressed his regret. He was very sorry about the Jagdish tragic end. Now he was quite surprised at the fact that Jagdish family did not hold any grudges against him. So he was very surprised to see that Jagdish family they did not have any grievances. They were not uh, he was quite surprised at the fact that Jagdish family did not hold any grudges against him. It means that he was very surprised when he saw that the Jagdish family they did not have a strong feeling of anger or dislike against him because of the Jagdish tragic end. The end of Jagdish was very sad. Now they were rather proud of the fact that Jagdish was free from racial prejudice. So now they were proud because they thought that Jagdish was very free from hostility towards people. He did not have any hostility towards people of another race or color, and had willingly given up his life for his spiritual brother. So they thought that Jagdish had done a good thing. He had willingly himself given up his life for the spiritual brother. That means whom he thought that Spark was brother by sent by spirits. Now who had come from the west to visit him? So this Spark had come to visit him from western country, United States. This made Spark reflect. He finally knew why India was called the land of mysteries. Now this Spark understood that why this India is called the land of mysteries. The mystery laid in the kind, humble, and self-sacrificial nature of her people, free from prejudices. Now he understood that this is why this India is called the land of mystery, because the people here are very kind, they are very humble, they have self-sacrificial nature. That means they sacrifice for the sake of others, and they are free. They don't have any grievances for any anger against anyone. This was a country that could boast of people having people like Jagdish who would offer life itself for a friend from a foreign land. That means that India could boast. India is a country that could be proud of itself, because he has the people like Jagdish who can give their life for a friend from a foreign land. Thank you.